Back to channel. I think you already seen this diagram in elbow joint. So with the same diagram, let us start understanding today the profunda brachii artery. So profunda brachii artery is actually an artery, the vessel of the posterior compartment of the arm. Okay, so it's actually the largest branch which is arising just below the teres major. So for example, if here will be teres major, so just below teres major, it takes its origin. Okay, and represents a continuation of profunda artery. It also accompanies the radial nerve and ends by anastomosing with radial recurrent artery. So if you see here the radial recurrent artery, it's nothing but anastomosing with the radial collateral artery, and this radial collateral artery is in turn a branch of profunda brachii artery. So very important, it accompanies radial nerve through radial groove. Okay, and before piercing lateral intermuscular septum, it divides into anterior and posterior descending branches. Okay, anterior and posterior descending branches. It's dividing into the anterior and posterior descending branches, and which take part in anastomosis around the elbow joint. So just remember, just before piercing the lateral intermuscular septum, it mainly divides into anterior and posterior descending branches. So let us understand the branches of this radial artery. Okay, so the first one is radial collateral artery, or also called as anterior descending. Okay, radial collateral artery is nothing but anterior descending, and this is the posterior descending artery. As I said, the brachial artery is divided into anterior descending or radial collateral, posterior descending artery. Okay, you can see this both branches of profunda brachii. Now we are mainly discussing about this radial collateral artery. Okay, one of the terminal branches represents continuation of profunda artery, accompanies radial nerve, ends by anastomosing with radial recurrent artery in front of lateral epicondyle of humerus. Okay, next coming to the middle collateral artery. Okay, middle collateral artery or posterior descending artery. Okay, this is the largest terminal branch, descend in substance of medial head of triceps, ends by anastomosing with interosseous recurrent artery. Okay, for this I already gave a mnemonic, that is SIMR with PAIR, means SIMR will pair with PAIR. So here you can check out that radial collateral artery R with R, radial recurrent artery. Okay. SIMR, I said MR, M means middle descending artery. Okay, SIMR, PAIR, SIM, PAI. So M with I means this one with I means recurrent artery. So just remember that mnemonic once again. I'll write it down here. So just remember this mnemonic, SIMR with PAIR. Okay, so now we are talking about this one, then it will pair with interosseous recurrent. Before we talked about R will R means radial collateral artery with radial recurrent artery. M means middle descending artery with interosseous recurrent artery. Okay, so that's it. We'll discuss about them. Okay, so behind the lateral epicondyle of humerus, they will mainly undergo this anastomosis. It usually gives a branch which accompanies the nerve to humerus. Okay, next coming to deltoid or ascending branch, which ascends between the long and lateral head of triceps and anastomose with descending branch of posterior circumflex artery. So posterior circumflex artery will come and anastomose with this. And next coming to the nutrient artery to humerus, is often present and enters the bone in the radial groove just behind the deltoid capacity. However, it may be remembered that the main artery to the humerus is a branch of brachial artery. So it's not a point over here. So just remember these two, because these are the two branches of profunda brachii artery, that is the anterior or radial collateral, posterior descending artery or the middle descending artery, which in turn are anastomosing with the radial recurrent artery, interosseous recurrent artery from the lower side. So this anastomosis help around the elbow joint. This two, and the other one is deltoid ascending branch, ascend between the long and lateral head of triceps, anastomose with descending branch of posterior circumflex humeral artery. Okay, the other one is nutrient artery to humerus, which is often present and bone in the radial groove just behind deltoid tuberosity. However, it may be remembered the main artery to humerus. So it's a branch of radial artery. So now coming to the clinical anatomy. Okay, so mainly coming to the brachial pulsations. So always, if you remember, if you take BP, where you take BP at the rate of brachial artery, where is the brachial artery? You should say this answer in the cubital fossa. In the cubital fossa, if you remember the mnemonic MBBR, right? So this B stands for biceps brachitendon, this B stands for R, brachial artery, right? So the brachial pulsations are felt or auscultated in front of elbow joint, just medial to tendon of biceps brachii. While recording the blood pressure, the figure shows the palpable arteries as well. Okay, stethoscope, you will put it at the rate of this brachial artery at the elbow. Okay. Next, although the brachial artery can be compressed anywhere along its course, it is compressed most favorably in the middle of the arm, where it lies in the tendon of coracobrachialis. The cubital region is very important, this one. Why very important? Because the median cubital vein is often the vein of choice for intravenous injection. Yeah, we know that one. And also the blood pressure is recorded universally by auscultating brachial artery in front of the elbow. And the anatomy of cubital fossa is also useful while dealing the fracture around the elbow, like supracondylar fracture of humerus. Okay. Next, coming to the radial nerve injuries. So the radial nerve injuries in the arm, triceps brachii, usually escape complete paralysis because the nerve supply arises in the axilla. Okay. Next, the radial nerve is very commonly damaged in the region of radial spiral groove. The common cause of injury are sleeping in armchair with limited, you can see this pose, sleeping in armchair with the limb hanging by side of the chair, that is called Saturday night palsy, or even the pressure of crutch paralysis. So this is mainly because this cause is mainly because of radial nerve damage. Okay. In the fractures of shaft of humerus, results in weakness and loss of power of extension of wrist. If there is any problem in the shaft of humerus, then weakened extension of wrist, this is called as wrist drop, and there is a sensory loss over a narrow strip on the back of forearm and on lateral side of the dorsum of the hand. There will be sensory loss over a narrow strip on the back of forearm and also on the lateral side of the dorsum of the hand. The wrist drop is quite disabling because the patient cannot grip any object firmly in hand without synergistic action of extensor. So you can see sensory loss of the back of forearm and the dorsum of the hand. So this is about wrist drop. So wrist drop is mainly due to injury in shaft of humerus. This is also because of radial nerve. So because of radial nerve, you have Saturday night palsy or wrist drop, and brachial artery is useful for the auscultation of pulsations and also to take blood pressure, and also middle cubital vein in the cubital fossa is useful for the intravenous injections. So only this is about the clinical anatomy. So by this we completed this chapter.